بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السيد كارل نهايمر المستشار الفيدرالي لجمهورية النمسا، السيدات والسادة الحضور، اسمحوا لي في البداية أن أرحب بكم وبالوفد المرافق لكم في زيارتكم الرسمية الأولى لمصر، وأن أعرب لكم عن خالص التقدير باسمي وباسم الشعب المصري واعتزازنا بالعلاقات الودية الطيبة التي تجمعها بالنمسا. احنا بنتكلم على أكثر من 150 سنة من العلاقات المستقرة.
150 years of strong, stable relations with Austria, and they have always been established on mutual respect and our attempt to support friendship and our commitment to develop our economic, political and cultural ties. Ladies and gentlemen, today I was glad to hope fruitful talks and constructive ones with the Chancellor that reflected the interest of both countries to look for means of supporting bilateral cooperation in different domains, as well as cooperation in a number of important fields, on top of which is transport, manufacturing, renewable energy, and hydrogen. And it targets achieving concrete development in trade between both countries, as well as attracting more Austrian investments to Egypt. This is considered to be conventionally one of the most important partners of Austria in the Middle East and Africa. And it is a position that Egypt appreciates, and I agreed also with the Chancellor to work together in the coming period to develop further these relations in a way that would reflect the distinguished political ties between both countries. Ladies and gentlemen, our meeting today with Chancellor Nehammer was a good opportunity for coordination and consultation regarding a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern between Egypt and Austria. And our visions agreed on the importance of this fruitful consultation and coordination as friends and partners to deal with the multiple unprecedented challenges facing the international community. And in this context, we discussed the Russian-Ukrainian crisis and its negative repercussions on international peace and security and the stability of energy security and food security worldwide. And these are the repercussions from which the least development countries have suffered, and it added to the burdens shouldered by them to achieve the aspects of sustainable development and the requirements of development. And I clarified to Chancellor Nehammer that Egypt, due to recognition of the importance of international peace and security, is holding talks with all parties of this crisis to reach a peaceful settlement to settle the dispute as soon as possible. And during the talks today, we reviewed Egypt's vision regarding a number of regional important files and the efforts Egypt exerts to deal with the reasons of non-stability in our region. We tackled the developments in Libya, as well as the Palestinian cause and the Renaissance Dam issue, in addition to the recent developments in Sudan, emphasizing the fact that Egypt is keen on restoring stability there, as well as protecting the future of the people of Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, with due concern, I listened today to the vision of Chancellor Nehammer regarding the irregular migration phenomenon that is a common threat to us all. And we decided to intensify coordination between us regarding the migration file from a holistic perspective to deal with the socio-economic root causes of this phenomenon. And let me here also emphasize the size of agreement between us and Chancellor regarding this important issue. And if we are seeking to find results, especially good and appropriate results for this phenomenon, as well as preventing the organization working in this field, I discussed with the Chancellor the importance of having mechanisms, institutional mechanisms to deal with regular migration, to organize it and to prepare and develop the citizens who are to immigrate regularly and legally in a way that would prevent irregular migration with its negative impacts. And I clarified to the Chancellor in this context the Egyptian efforts in hosting 9 million guests who live on the land of Egypt and enjoy all fundamental rights available to the Egyptian citizens without any discrimination. And in the context of our open discussion with our partners, I informed the Chancellor about the continuous serious steps made by the State of Egypt regarding human rights from a holistic perspective and integrated approach targeting the empowerment of the Egyptian citizen and enabling him to practice all his political, economic and social rights secured by the Egyptian constitution through the national strategy for human rights implemented by the state on a number of levels, emphasizing Egypt's preparedness for constructive dialogue with its partners regarding this important file. And I also reviewed with Austria the great success achieved by Egypt, the government and the people in confronting terrorism and extremism phenomena over the previous years. Through great sacrifices made by the Egyptians and a holistic vision that covers all dimensions and reasons of this heinous phenomenon. Mr. Chancellor, at the end of my speech, let me extend thanks and appreciation to you for your verbal and written invitation to visit Austria. And I welcome proudly this invitation, and I will try to visit Austria as soon as possible after coordinating this visit with the diplomatic channels. At the end, Mr. Chancellor, I would like to welcome you once more and your accompanying delegate as guests to Egypt, and I'm looking forward to further cooperation and coordination between Egypt and Austria in the future to achieve welfare and prosperity for our two friendly nations, and in a way that would develop the relations between both countries into better horizons. Your Excellency, the President, at the outset, I would like to extend Your Excellency thanks for the hospitality we received here. This visit is considered to be the important culmination of our visit to Africa. Our talks today were intensive and rich. Austria and Egypt have close cooperation between them in different fields, economic and security. And as the President said, we have also cultural relations that extend back to 140 years ago. The goal of this visit was to focus on the economic aspects, as well as signing a number of memos of understanding with Austrian companies to support cooperation and to help it develop further. We discussed the infrastructure for transport, irrigation, agriculture, as well as a lot of other fields for which memos of understanding are to be signed today. And as His Excellency the President mentioned, his visit to Austria would be an important visit, as Egypt is an important country in the production of green hydrogen, and cooperation in this field is of paramount importance. When the President will honor us with this visit to Austria, we will discuss further agreements in this field, and we will see how can we develop more our cooperation. Egypt is also a touristic destination for tourists from Austria. A lot of them come to Egypt on their vacations, so we have seen a lot of development in flights between both countries, so we will have more agreements in this context as well. In addition to this, we discussed the war on terrorism as well as political Islam, and we in Austria need the experience of Egypt in this field, as Egypt has suffered from the terrorist attacks and was able to overcome it. So cooperation with Egypt in this field is so important. We all need to do our best for the interest of both our nations, and we need to share information and identify the terrorist elements at the suitable time. And we discussed also irregular migration. And let me here also emphasize that I respect everything Egypt has done regarding hosting more than 8 million refugees in Egypt. This is a great contribution from Egypt. And it supports the security of the African continent, and it is also a burden shouldered by Egypt and the Egyptian security in fighting smuggling of migrants and trafficking in persons, and we are going to cooperate more in this field, as this is an important issue for us and Europe. It's so important to coordinate regarding the asylum requests and the migration requests, because this is the right by constitution. Migration is depending on the future of Europe. We discussed also regular migration and how can we achieve it, and how can we have legitimate channels for migrants in the European labor market to receive manpower. And we also agreed to cooperate in this context, as Egypt is cooperating with Germany already, and we need to do the same. And we wish that our labor market in Austria would benefit also from the potentials in Egypt, as there are about 60 million young men and young women in Egypt. So it would be so good to benefit from their skills. And we need to work on preventing the exploitation of people and youth through organized crime. So I think that Egypt and Austria can cooperate together in this context. In North Africa, Egypt is considered to be the cornerstone for its stability and security. And Egypt is surrounded by a number of countries facing difficulties and problems like Sudan, and we believe that Egypt is a very important partner, and I'm so glad to be here in Egypt, and I wish that I would receive His Excellency the President in Austria soon. Thank you once more for the hospitality.